It's time for today's travel and cruise industry news. With the latest from travel and cruises around the world, here's your host, Chillie Falls.
Hey, good morning and welcome to the Travel and Cruise Industry News Podcast. For this, the 18th day of December 2023, coming to you from Bedford County, Virginia. And folks, you gotta excuse me, I just went on a sneezing fit from I don't know where. I must have sneezed 13 times just as I was getting ready to go on the air. Well, all right, so I think the sneezing fit is over. We do have quite a few news stories this morning. The Carnival Panorama gets her funnel back. Yeah, she can start making funnel cakes again. No, she gets her funnel back. Weather impacts severe on cruises the end of the week and over the weekend and into the day even. Man overboard from the MSC Armonia. The newest NCL ship will be in port every day for over 4 months. Rhapsody of the Seas will be homeporting from Colombia. And lots more live here at 11 o'clock this morning on Monday, Travel and Cruise Industry News Podcast. Today, folks, is National Baked Cookies Day. So, I mean, the procedures are simple, folks. You get some chocolate chips and you get all the other stuff that you put into your recipe of chocolate chip cookies, and you make up a batch, and you very carefully put them in a box, and you mail them to chilliescruises in Forest, Virginia, and I'll be happy to test them out for you. You know, I have a weakness for chocolate chip cookies, almost as bad as my friend Emma over at the UK. All right. If you're listening via the podcast, you can always access the podcast via my blog, which is accessadventure.net, or wherever you get your podcasts from. All the big guys, just search for Travel and Cruise Industry News, and voila, up pops the Fat Travel Guy. So, any of them, just that's how you do it. There's always a link in the description if you ever want to jump over to the video feed. There's always a link in the description of the podcast to do just that in case you want to check out clips or pictures or even some interviews. And I'm hoping to do some expanding on the interview portion of the program, folks. I'd love to get up to the point where I've got an interview every day. That would be awesome. All right, today's show is brought to you primarily by Scootaround. Scootaround, you know, they're running a sweet sale right now on the Miracle Mobility Platinum 8,000 open box sale. You can save $800. Now, that's the foldable chair, folks. It's also known as the Model F. I'm not sure why they decided in this ad series to call it the Platinum 8,000, but it, in fact, is a wheel chair. The Scootaround folks are selling it. It is not a used chair. This is a new chair, folks, but it's just in an open box from an open box situation. You know, perhaps somebody had one delivered and they sat in it and they weren't comfortable, or, I mean, any number of things. Demos for dealers. But anyway, it's a brand new chair with a full warranty. The open box Miracle Mobility Platinum 8,000 folding power chair. Now, that's one of them you can fold it, folks. It's weighs like 50 pounds, and so it can go right in the trunk of a car. It's been one of the most popular products in 2023. Dozens of customers are now proud owners, but that also means the stock is going fast. Don't miss the opportunity to enjoy the same features and benefits as the new model for only $1,099. Regular retail price is $1,899, plus get free shipping and a full manufacturer's warranty. The offer is valid till December 31st. You can either shop online or call 844-664-7467. Use code CHILLIE, CHILLIE, and you'll get the discount. All right. That's the folding power chair from a Scoot Around. All right, the first story today, folks. Well, before we get to the stories, I do have a couple other things to get to here, folks. I mean, it has been a nutty couple weeks. My friend Nate was on the Caribbean Princess, and he believes in taking Christmas with him. So this is how he decorated his balcony on the Caribbean Princess. So he felt right at home with Christmas. And then, of course, he did go on the beach and had to sample some rum. So that was okay. We can allow him to do that. And Mr. Bucket List is sailing this week on his group cruise, made up of people that have supported him on his website, pre-cruise website, even back when he was strictly doing those the parks that he does so well. Of course, he rides roller coasters that I don't even look at, much less ride them. But I'm just wondering, Justin, what the hell are you doing? Are you running around the ship in your bathrobe? I'm just curious. It looks like you're in your bathrobe. Frowned on. Yeah. No, it's not. I'm teasing. I love Justin to death. This is the Cruise Boys with the Victorian Princess. And Cindy, I got to ask you, this is, of course, Cindy Derajanic. Is that a real gingerbread house over there in the corner? I was just curious. You can let me know in the comments. Cindy, I love Cindy to death. Also. All right, the top story today comes from our friends at Carnival. Getting ready to resume service, the Carnival Panorama returned to Victoria, Canada to have its funnel reinstalled following the drydock. According to an update shared by Carnival brand ambassador John Heald, the ship is now set to return to its homeport in Long Beach. Out of service since mid-November, the Carnival Panorama underwent repairs at the Vigor Shipyard in Oregon. Too tall to fit under the fixed bridges on the Columbia River, the 2019 built vessel needed to have its funnel removed before entering the dry dock of the facility in Portland. And we never did figure out why it couldn't be done before it tried to go under the bridges. I said they didn't have a screwdriver to fit. So they had to go backtrack and go all the way around, way out of the way, up to Victoria, took the funnel off because they had the right size screwdriver up there, you understand. Took the funnel off. Ship had to sail all the way back down to Portland, come back under those bridges that they wouldn't fit under with the funnel, and went to dry dock, and they fixed the azipods. So now they're reversing all that to get the funnel back so the ship looks like it's supposed to look like, and they can also cook funnel cakes. Carnival Panorama is now set to resume service on December 23rd for a 7-night cruise to the Mexican Riviera, sailing round trip from Long Beach. The itinerary features visits to Cabo, Mazatlan, and Puerto Vallarta. All right, it'll be good for a couple reasons, folks. Good that the Panorama maybe finally is going to get rid of the propulsion issues. Good that the Panorama is back in time for the Christmas cruise, and they didn't have to cancel that. So, barring any major disasters between now and what day is that? Friday when it sails? Anyway, it'll be back, folks. And speaking of being back, I'll be back with some more stories after a quick break from one of our network sponsors. All right, folks, this could easily have been the main story today. Was over the last almost week, the non-tropical, I'm not sure why it wasn't considered tropical, but non-tropical weather up and down through the Bahamas, through this ravaged Florida, up the East Coast. Charleston got nailed. Today, New York City is getting nailed. I mean, it's ridiculous with the amount of flooding, extraordinarily high winds. They even shut down the Verrazano Bridge this morning for a while. That doesn't happen very often, folks. Multiple ships from multiple cruise lines were heavily impacted by the severe weather from the Bahamas to South Florida, up the East Coast to New York, and had changes ranging from last Wednesday, December the 13th, through today as the weather has developed. And of course, all the cruise lines say the same thing. In the interest of guest safety and comfort, cruise lines are canceling ports of call, shifting routes to find the smoothest sailing to take advantage of. Rough seas, high swells, strong winds are causing multiple cruise ships to change itineraries. Experienced cruise travelers are very familiar with such changes, and ports of call may always be adjusted due to inclement weather that could cause hazardous navigational challenges for docking or make it unsafe for guests to walk along exposed piers or use tender boats, or all of the above in some cases. All right, some of the changes were minor, some were major, and this is probably nowhere near all of them, but this is all that I've figured out so far. Port Miami was even closed to cruise traffic for several hours yesterday. It did get back open late in afternoon yesterday. But that was part of the issue. All right, the Sky Princess, the December 16th sailing. Sky Princess sailed out of Fort Lauderdale. The vessel has canceled the scheduled call to Princess Keys, which was on the 17th. The call to San Juan on the 19th is expected to go ahead. And the letter said to passengers, Carnival Pride, December 17th sailing. They've informed guests that the 17th departure from Tampa Bay was delayed by a couple hours. The ship is still scheduled to go to Western Caribbean during a 6-night voyage. Carnival Freedom, from back on the 14th sailing, has a major impact on the itinerary due to the severe weather. The ship was unable to safely call at Nassau on the 15th and Princess Keys on the 16th. Instead, the ship added unscheduled visits to Freeport in the Bahamas, but this does not go to plan, as Carnival Pride was unable to dock there. The vessel is sailing a cruise to nowhere until it gets back to Port Canaveral today. And by today, folks, Florida should be cleared out. Today, things should be back to normal. The Meraviglia, which was sailing out of New York, basically all of the stops were changed, and they went north instead of south. So instead of coming down to the Bahamas and Ocean Key, they went to overnighted in Boston, stopped in Portland, and went up to St. John before returning to the Big Apple on the 23rd. Allure of the Seas was unable to visit Perfect Day at Coco Key during its current sailing, which came out of Port Canaveral, by the way. Combined with wind on the ship's movement, they reported as high as 55 knots of wind, 63 miles per hour. So the captain basically just sought shelter where they could keep the guests safe and comfortable overnight. Allure arrived back in Port Canaveral on schedule, and the next itinerary was also impacted, as it was supposed to go to Nassau and Coco Key, and it didn't go there. So Mariner of the Seas, the last one, was shifted. Her entire weekend itinerary. The ship departed Port Canaveral on the 14th, and what was to have been a 4-night cruise, ending today. And instead, the original schedule went to Costa Maya, Mexico. Friday is a day at sea, and was a day at sea, rather, and was in Costa Maya on Saturday, and Sunday will be another day at sea as she heads back to Port Canaveral today. Liberty of the Seas likewise missed a call in Coco Key on the current sailing. The ship returned to Fort Lauderdale on schedule. The next sailing also canceled. The Bahamas calls in Nassau and Coco Key. Carnival Vista, which was involved with an at-sea rescue of stranded crew members on a capsized cargo vessel a week ago, was forced to skip the scheduled stop in Grand Turk. Instead, the ship enjoyed an extra day at sea on her way back to Port Canaveral. The Carnival Venezia, the sailing from New York on the Venezia was forced to make itinerary changes due to the bad weather. The scheduled port of call on Half Moon Key in the Bahamas was canceled. Passengers also dealt with a brief power failure. They got into Nassau and had a power failure right after leaving Nassau. The Norwegian Escape current sailing was turned into a sea day with a call at Great Stirrup Key canceled. The ship departed Port Canaveral on the 9th for an Eastern Caribbean itinerary. Great Stirrup Key was to have been the final port of call, but now it's heading straight back to Port Canaveral. The New Amsterdam sailing on Holland America, the ship was scheduled to return to service from a 2-week dry dock in Freeport when the worst of the weather is expected to impact South Florida. Because of this, the cruise has now been shortened to 2 days and will not depart until today. Margaritaville at Sea Paradise canceled one cruise completely. Royal Caribbean Grandest of the Seas, the oldest ship in Royal Caribbean fleet, was delayed returning to Miami yesterday, but did get in late yesterday and finished continuing on its way. Royal Caribbean provided free Wi-Fi internet from 7 a.m. yesterday morning until debarkation was finished. This permitted guests to, whether they had purchased a package or not, to contact friends and family members, airlines, hotels, rental cars, or other agency as needed to provide updates or adjust post-cruise plans. And the Carnival also reached out to guests on the Carnival Sunshine sailing date for today to alert them of a delay in embarkation. The ship is currently finishing a cruise with a day at sea to Charleston, but rough weather is impacting her overall speed, and the ship's return will be delayed. This will subsequently delay the next cruise. So the industry basically was totally screwed up for almost a full week now because of this weather system. Unbelievable. All right. A male guest has been reported missing and later confirmed overboard from MSC Armonia. The incident occurred during the ship's transatlantic voyage from Europe to South America. MSC Armonia departed Italy on Sunday, November 26th, after various calls in Europe and the Canary Islands. Arrived in Recife, Brazil, on Thursday, the 14th. The ship's itinerary has not been impacted by the incident. 40-year-old male guest who has not been officially identified is confirmed overboard from the Armonia while the ship was crossing the Atlantic from the Canary Islands. After the guest was reported missing approximately 9 a.m. on December 13th, several hours having last been seen, the ship's security conducted a review of onboard security cameras, activated other overboard procedures, but to no avail. Ultimately, it was determined that the man had gone intentionally overboard at roughly 5 a.m. that morning and was alone. Doing so, no foul play was involved, though there have been some tense moments between him and his travel partner witnessed by other guests earlier in the sailing. Those are always sad situations. You never can put yourself in somebody else's shoes to know just how bad things are for them. Norwegian Viva, Norwegian Cruise Line's newest ship, will visit a port every single day for the next 4 months without any sea days. Norwegian Viva arrived in San Juan, Puerto Rico, and will homeport there for the next 4 months. The cruise ship will offer port-intensive itineraries to the Southern Caribbean with no sea days scheduled through April of 2024. Rhapsody of the Seas is kicking off its home porting season in Cartagena, Colombia. Technically, that's Cartagena de Indias, Colombia. Part of Royal Caribbean International's return to Latin America after a 7-year gap. The operation includes 12 cruises departing from the Colombian port. Through April, the vessel is set to offer a series of 7-night voyages to the Southern Caribbean that also features visit to other destinations in the region, including Panama and the ABC Islands. Cartagena and Cologne serve as homeports for the operation. So you can embark and disembark at either port. So many of you know I love Cartagena. One of my favorite ports. And I was unable to go into Cologne, so I can't even talk about Cologne. One of these days, I'll get there. All right, that wraps up the news portion of today. Let's go see who's fussing at me in the newsroom. Otter Tom is back in Richmond. Despite all that horrible weather, he made it back. Of course, Cindy got home and said, "Thank God I'm home finally." Otter Tom loved the headline. Now they can make funnel cakes. Oh, okay. I got you out here. Yeah, that's correct. Funnel cakes on the flippin' panorama. Steve's with us out in Kentucky. Hey, Steve. Emily's here. She's swimming in New York. Mike's with us over on the other side of the pond. How's the weather in Richmond? Chilly, but we have a beautiful blue cloudless sky. Yeah, it's a pretty day here as far as the sun goes, but it was a little nipply this morning again. Not as bad as it has been, however, but it was good to get out of the rain from yesterday. Gretchen's with us. Hi, Gretchen. There's Roger. Good morning, Roger. Kenneth's with us up in Pennsylvania. Dennis is here. If visiting New York, get the chocolate chip walnut cookies from Levan Bakery on West 74th Street and Amsterdam Avenue. Wow. Okay. There's a recommendation, folks, if you're in New York and want some chocolate chip and walnut cookies. Dennis is welcoming Roger. Emily says, cute decor on the balcony. Yeah, he did a nice job with that. He's one of those people that decorates his rooms and stuff on cruise ships. I don't do that. I don't want to pack anything extra and have to carry extra and have to keep up with stuff. So, and a lot of people do. Not me. I will eat the chocolate chip cookies, however, folks. What's this Westfield view balcony near the stern? That's his Westfield view balcony near the stern. Yeah. Robert's with us. Good morning, Robert. Good to have you as always. Nina says, how are you doing? I'm doing fine, Nina. Thank you for being with us. And welcome. Do you think the Panorama is replacing ABB Azimuth thrusters with another manufacturer? That's one that I don't know, Dennis. They have not said if they were replaced, if they were repaired. They haven't given any details on that yet. I just know that, I mean, there's probably been 10 ships that have had issues with that over the last, 5 years or so, 4 years maybe. But I don't know if they replaced them with a different brand. The Meraviglia changed from a Bahamian cruise to a Canadian cruise in December. Yeah, I thought that was a bit strange too. And they're still going to, they're going to get right back into it, coming back, yesterday into New York. And they got to get over that hump to go back to the southern itinerary. I mean, it's just a bad situation when you get storms like this. And there's no way around it. It's nothing the cruise lines are doing wrong. I mean, it's just the weather, kind of pooped on our heads. So, and you don't expect storms like this one's been, the severity that this one's been, with 60 plus mile an hour winds, all through the Caribbean and the Bahamas and, up the East Coast. You don't expect that in December. Yeah, you can get some nor'easters, but not like that. It's just a strange one, I thought. So, Armonia, that was the ship that ran into the Roatan port in 2019. Yes, it was. Bad brakes. Yeah, they had worn brake shoes. Or the pedal went to the metal. I don't know. So much rain. Yeah, they say you could have 2 to 3 inches an hour today. That's plenty. So, Hot Air says Nifley sounds like Chillie has been watching National Lampoon's Christmas Vacation. I wouldn't do that. I don't watch Christmas movies. The Meravilia passenger compensation was not good. No, it was ridiculous. And I can't. I understand that's. What am I saying? Armonia. Oh, I was slurred it too much. Armonia. Okay, I got that one. I was putting the emphasis in the wrong place. So anyway, yeah, the ships, they're trying to cut costs wherever they can, and if they can get by without giving, major compensation for these things that get screwed up, that really isn't their fault. They're trying to avoid it. I understand that, but I hate it too. The one that still bothers me the most is when you miss a cruise port and that particular line or that particular ship doesn't automatically reimburse you for the port fees. It's not much money, but it was money that's not spent. So why can't I get it back without having to go stand on my head and demand it back? That should be an automatic. I will say, MSC, when we had a port cancellation, there was no question about it. That was the next day, it was in your account. So, not the same with Norwegian, folks. I've had several port cancellations. And then the last one, which was for Great Stirrup Cay, which was the last day of the cruise, went to the desk and says, "Oh yeah, it'll be put back in your account." Well, the account was closed the next morning. Said, "Put it back in the account." You got off the ship. I mean, I wasn't going to go back and say, "Where's my $15 or whatever it was?" Once I was called and going off the ship and realized that they didn't do it. Why tell us that? All right, guys. Chillie, you can make a lot by organizing a class action suit regarding the missed port fees for the litigation attorneys. Yeah, I suppose, you can, but would they care enough to get involved? I don't know. Might be worth a phone call and ask. Get the names of those who weren't refunded. Well, that's just it. I mean, I know who wasn't refunded in my little group, but that doesn't make up for the whole cruise ship. So, all right, guys, that's going to wrap me up for today. Again, I'll be back tomorrow. with the same silliness. Hopefully, we won't have to talk about weather tomorrow. It would be nice that, other than, Emily having to deal with the flooding up there in New York and possible problems with sailings from New York today, it would be nice if everything's back to normal going into Christmas week. That would be my Christmas wish. All you folks out there sailing for the holiday, have a nice, smooth cruise. That's a nice Christmas wish, actually. All right, guys. That's going to wrap me up. I'll be back, same channel, same, what am I saying? Same time, same place tomorrow. And I'll screw something up tomorrow, too, just as well. Don't forget, smash that thumbs up button and hit that bell notification. I'm up to, what am I up to? 48, 80 something, I think. 100 away, roughly. 100 away from 5,000. 100, a little change. Smash that subscribe button. All right, guys, that's going to wrap me up for today. As always, stay safe, stay healthy. Think about cruising. Hopefully one day soon we'll all get together on the high seas, even if it is raining out. All right. Have a great day, everybody. See you back here tomorrow. Later, y'all.
I regularly post videos on all facets of the travel and cruise industry. So if you like to keep up with the latest in cruise ships, ports of call, cruises themselves, chilly chats, and travel and cruise industry news, just hit the little subscribe button in the lower right-hand corner, hit the bell notification so you'll be notified when a new video is up or we go live. This video was produced by Chilliescruises.